Good morning, good day, and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all races, ages, genders, sexual orientations, religions, etc. Today I'm going to be talking about a creature that has piqued my interest for some time. It was actually around the same time that I made my Predator video last year. Why is this video just now coming out? Life, that's why. That aside, the topic of discussion today is a fictional creature that has captivated, intrigued, and put fear into the hearts and minds of those who witnessed them since they made their debut nearly 50 years ago. They are creatures known for their parasitic adaptation, cunning, stealth, and mercilessness. I'm talking, of course, about the Xenomorph. With their lengthy presence and continued expansion into media, it can be really hard to imagine someone not knowing what this creature is. But to those who were born in the late Gen Z era and beyond, one may ask, what is a Xenomorph? And what makes him so scary? Well, the term Xenomorph, also known as Xenomorph XX121, or simply Alien, refers to a broad range of the fictional extraterrestrial creature known for its desire for two things: to reproduce and to kill. They are an incredibly dangerous species known to stalk and eviscerate anyone and anything that isn't one of their own. Their height and weight varies depending on their stage of life, with them starting as small as a foot tall and weighing about 6 pounds, to some of the largest known xenomorphs, which stand 50 feet tall and weigh about 10 tons. Xenomorphs are usually referred to in the feminine manner, though it is unknown how or if xenomorphs reproduce. This is especially true when the leader of the species is called a queen. A typical xenomorph appears to have an elongated domed head, a protective dark exoskeleton, similar to that of a lobster, and a long, flexible tail used to maim or fatally injure the victim. They are not known to have eyes, though they do move in a manner that indicates they have no problem seeing. They also possess a secondary jaw or inner mouth. Aside from their claws, their inner mouth is their secondary form of close quarters combat, which is powerful enough to penetrate the much thicker and dense skull of a predator. If one is formidable enough to be able to injure or even kill a xenomorph, they must also be aware of its final form of defense: its blood. What's so special about its blood, you may ask? Well, Xenomorph's blood is a form of highly concentrated acid. This acid is strong enough to dissolve through nearly anything and everything. The only thing strong enough to withstand this blood is another Xenomorph. Every Xenomorph starts out the same, in an ovomorph, or simply known as an egg. These eggs are laid by the Xenomorph queen where her hive is located. A Xenomorph's hide, also known as a nest, is the resting area of the Xenomorph queen, constructed from a gelatinous web and saliva-like fluid secreted by Xenomorphs, known as hive resin. Once the eggs are laid, they lie dormant waiting to impregnate an unsuspecting or ignorant individual with a living creature inside the egg known as... Once a being falls victim to the facehugger, it will tightly wrap its finger-like legs around the victim's skull and its spine-like tail around the victim's neck to prevent an early removal before it can finish its purpose. At this point, it is impossible to survive the process, whether the facehugger is removed or not. During this process, it will supply air to the victim through the use of its air sac. It will also stick a proboscis down the host's throat so that it can implant the final stage of the facehugger. Once the facehugger has finished impregnating the host, it will die. It won't do so in vain, as the victim will awaken several minutes to several hours later. No matter what, the host will only have a short period of time to enjoy the rest of their life, because once the time comes, the chestburster will live up to its name and exit violently and excruciatingly through the victim's chest, signifying the beginning of its reign of terror. Once the chestburster exits the host's chest, it will retreat to a safe area. There, it will quickly mature into its adult form, where it spends several hours molting. Once the molting is complete, the xenomorph is ready to move about how it pleases, usually growing more allies for the queen. Unless the xenomorph's life is cut short from either battle or an accident, they can live for thousands of years, possibly forever. They can even survive in the vacuum of space, as seen in Alien Romulus. There are various forms of xenomorphs, all of which increase in difficulty to eliminate the older and wiser they get. With humans being the most common victims, a xenomorph will get its traits from them. The types of xenomorphs depicted in media are drones, the most basic and common form of xenomorphs. They are seen as the workers of the hive, as their main purpose is to keep the hive in mint condition. Mint condition according to their standards, that is. They are also seen to act more stealthily and ambush their prey than directly attack. Drones usually stand between 7 to 8 feet tall and 14 to 16 feet long with their tail and weigh roughly 300 pounds. As there are several different types of xenomorphs, there are further several types of drones. From the most common to the least, they are domed, rigid, carved, and palatine. Warriors. The bigger, stronger, and tougher versions of drones, warriors, as their name imply, are the fighting force of the xenomorph hierarchy. Their primary purpose is to protect the hive, and most importantly, protect the queen. They stand 8 feet tall, 14 to 16 feet long, and weigh about 370 pounds. From this stage, a warrior xenomorph can further grow into a larger form through the use of a substance known as royal jelly. This substance is usually made as a last resort to maintain the survivability of the hive. Praetorian. A much larger and aggressive xenomorph that serves as the royal guard to the queen. Praetorians rarely operate outside the hive, as they are the queen's last line of defense, which explains their rare appearances. They stand about 10 feet tall and resemble a premature version of a queen. Queen. The most advanced and intelligent form of xenomorphs and the mother of the hive. When she is on her egg sac, she does not pose as much of a threat. However, when she is not attached to her egg sac, she is a dangerous and formidable opponent. Though the size of the queen varies depending on her age, she can stand anywhere from as short as 15 feet tall to possibly 100 feet tall. Other xenomorph forms have existed throughout its time in the media, through movies, video games, and graphic novels. They include Runner, a quadrupedal xenomorph created from an animal like a dog or an ox. Proto-xenomorph, a cousin of the xenomorphs. These creatures are similar in appearance, though a distinct difference is the smaller frame, sharper head, and life cycle. The most notable example of a proto-xenomorph is shown in the 2012 film Prometheus, which is known as the Deacon. Neomorph, a close relative to the xenomorph. The main difference is they do not have an inner jaw. They instead have a goblin shark-like jaw that they use to attack their prey. They are also white in appearance. They also seem to lack the same acidic blood as xenomorphs, though their saliva seems to be the source of their acidity. They are otherwise similarly scary and aggressive. Instead of being born from a facehugger, these creatures come from a fungus-like egg sac that were mutated from a dangerous pathogen known as Prometheus fire. Praedomorph, the near-perfect representation of the xenomorph we all know today. The biggest difference in an otherwise similar appearance is the chestburster appears closer to its adult form. They are also thinner than the xenomorphs, as well as being more aggressive. With the heightened aggression, they are more animalistic and less intelligent. Human hybrids. As of the recording of this video, there have been 2 instances of xenomorphs and human DNA mixing together. The first instance came from the 1997 film Alien Resurrection. Known as a newborn, this xenomorph is the result of a cloned queen that replaced its egg sac with a womb. After some time, the creature came into existence with a face only a mother could love. Maybe not. The next instance of a human xenohybrid came in the recent film Alien Romulus. This hybrid, known as the offspring, also has a mix of engineered DNA, thanks to the mother, Kay Harrison, injecting herself with a Prometheus fire pathogen. As one would expect, this did not go well, and she went from early stages of pregnancy to late stages of pregnancy in a matter of hours. The offspring would be born to have acidic blood like a xenomorph and grow exponentially in a matter of minutes. After killing its mother, it would further grow to the size similar to an engineer. Both hybrids would die in their respective films, though it would not be surprising if we see more of them in the future. Predalien. Seen in Aliens vs. Predator Requiem and the 2010 video game, also known as Aliens vs. Predator, the predalien is the product of a facehugger attaching itself to a predator. These xenomorphs take many physical characteristics of the predator, including its dreadlocks and mandibles. Predaliens are noticeably larger, stronger, and more deadly than both xenomorphs and predators. In Yautja society, only the most elite predators are sent to eliminate predaliens. Numerous video games have expanded on the types of xenomorphs not previously shown in the media. They include the Spitter, the Crusher, the Burster, and even a Tarkatan. Lastly, graphic novels have a few variants of xenomorphs as well. They include white hybrids, tusked, alpha, and oddly enough, necromorphs. The exact origin of xenomorphs is hotly debated, even conflicting. There are 3 prevailing theories as to how they came about to the universe. In the original Alien film, and even in the comics, the xenomorphs are said to have naturally evolved in a distant planet. That planet being Xenomorph Prime, a planet located in the Achilles system that is located 61 light years away from Earth. They were able to adapt to the harsh environments of their homeworld and become the vicious killing machines that we know and hate. It is said in a Dark Horse graphic novel run that xenomorphs were at war with another species that inhabited the planet following the Queen's capture and return to Earth. This other species was a red version of themselves. It was essentially a xenomorph civil war. The engineers were said to have created the alien species through the use of the Prometheus fire pathogen. It is said by Aliens director Ridley Scott that the engineers' original purpose for the creation of xenomorphs were for biological warfare. Xenomorphs weren't the only creations of the engineers, as they used the Prometheus fire pathogen to create several other species. It is said the creation of these species, including xenomorphs, led to their eventual demise, as their creations turned on them and led to their population dwindling. It is also theorized that because engineers carried eggs and a black goo on their ships, they intended not only to unleash the pathogen on other worlds filled with intelligent life, but possibly their own creations. The android David is considered to be the indirect creator of xenomorphs, as the ingredients for their life started well before he tinkered with what was already available to him. In his debut in the 2012 film Prometheus, he was ordered by his creator, Peter Weyland, to collect samples for their mission on the moon LV-223. He happened upon the Prometheus fire that the engineers carried on their dormant ship. He sought to know more about the substance and what it was capable of. He would take advantage of this opportunity to purposefully spike a crew member's strength for research purposes. He would then meet an engineer and try to talk to it, with his thought-to-be-dead creator, Peter Wayland. This conversation did not go well. He would then leave the planet with another crew member by the name of Elizabeth Shaw. They would travel to Planet 4, a homeworld of the engineers. David would become whole again with his body thanks to Shaw. Despite the generosity, David would commit damning acts. One of them included killing Shaw and using her body for his demented experiments. These experiments would lead to the creation of an early variant of a xenomorph egg and the eventual Predomorph. David would leave Planet 4 and set to continue his experimentation on the human colony on board the ship, as well as to the original planet the crew set its sights on. His story was meant to continue and give further elaboration on the origins of xenomorphs, but due to the underwhelming performance of Alien Covenant, the sequel was scrapped. All we have as a recording of this video is speculation on what happened to David and his test subjects. Thank you for watching this video. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and I finally did it. I've been fascinated by these creatures due to their ferocity and all-around hateful nature. I've also had my fair share of eliminating them in video games I played. I knew a lot about xenomorphs in my past research, which was just purely out of curiosity, but as always, I learn more the deeper I dive into a subject. I like to see how xenomorphs will continue to shape and entertain the masses in the future, with films, graphic novels, and even video games. Maybe we'll see an Aliens vs. Predator reboot in the future. Or maybe we can get a concrete explanation on the origins of xenomorphs. Only time will tell. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Make good decisions. And have a wonderful rest of your day.